नमस्ते म बिम्ब अधिकारी तत्सम आर्ट्सबाट अहिले चाहिँ हामी एउटा वर्कसपको आयोजना गर्दैछौँ वर्कसप चाहिँ हाम्रो एरिकले दिँदै हुनुहुन्छ जो चाहिँ अमेरिकाबाट हुनुहुन्छ उहाँ भेटरन थिएटर आर्टिस्ट र फिल्म आर्टिस्ट धेरैवटा फिल्ममा भोइस एक्टिङदेखि लिएर कस्ट्युमको डिपार्टमेन्टदेखि लिएर मेन उहाँको फिल्ड भनेको चाहिँ कस्ट्युम र सेट डिजाइनको हो तर उहाँले भोइस एक्टिङ पनि गर्नुभएको छ अनि नर्मल एक्टिङ गर्नुभएको छ क्यामेरा अगाडि र स्टेजमा अनि डिरेक्सन गर्नुभएको छ अहिले चाहिँ हामी यो वर्कसप चाहिँ 3 दिनमा चाहिँ हामीले डिरेक्सन एक्टिङ र सेट डिजाइन र कस्ट्युम डिजाइनलाई कभर गर्ने कोसिस गरेका छौँ यो हाम्रो दोस्रो दिन हो अब एक्चुअली हाम्रो एरिकको पनि इन्ट्रोडक्सन लिउँ सो एरिक why don't you introduce yourself to the Nepali audience?
Namaste. My name is Eric Abbot from Lawton, Oklahoma, associate professor.
That's all? So Eric, my first question is what really inspired you to choose this particular film?
I had done theater since I was 6 years old. And when I got to college age, I was trying to decide between music and theater. And honestly, I did not enjoy the music classes, and I loved the theater classes. I loved learning about theater, and I loved doing theater. Doing the performing, the directing, everything. Everything was exciting. And it felt right. It felt good. So I think that's the reasons I chose it, was because I really felt right when I was there.
So why did you choose theater over music?
Like I said, I felt better. I felt better about myself in theater than I did with music. I love to sing, but I did not enjoy the other aspects.
Like the rules you said?
Yeah, the rules. It was very, very strict with what you can and cannot do. And theater, if you break the rules, you're an innovator.
Yeah.
In music, if you break the rules, you are no talent.
So, from your experience, like, how do you think we can give the audience enough reason to spare 2 hours of their life and come to the theater to watch a play when they haven't seen a single play in their life?
I think the first thing I tell people is that it is live, and live theater is exciting. Just like a live concert is more exciting than listening to a recording. Watching a football game live is more exciting than watching it on television or listening on the radio. It's always more exciting live. They don't understand until they've been there. So if you explain it in the way of, versus that athletics, you going to a football game is much more exciting when you're there. Or a concert is more exciting when you're there. Theater is the same way, and you explain that. It's different from film because they're there, it's live, you can see it, and it's the energy, you can feel it.
The vibration and all.
Yeah, and so, and say, and if you don't like it, you don't have to come back. But if you like it, I'll assure you, you'll probably enjoy it a lot. And you tell them that, and almost always they enjoy it and they come back.
And every single show is new, right?
Yes, exactly. Every single time it's done. It might be the same show, but every single time it's performed, there's little differences. And it's fresh and new and energetic that you don't have in film.
Yep, you don't. So, as you are from the costume and set design, like it's your specialization, right? So, what is your approach when it comes to creating costume and set? Like, is there a certain set of steps you follow every single time, or
there are certain things I do every single time? The first thing I do is read the play. Read it through usually 3 or 4 times so I understand it and I have a very good idea of what is needed. Then I talk to the director. I do my research. I come up with ideas. I show them to the director. Depending on the play, depending on the time period, depends on what sort of research and where I take it, but I always do those steps. I always make drawings so that they can see them. And then once they approve the drawings, then of course I go through with building, with creating the item. But always read it, meet with the director, research, and come up with ideas. And those are the steps I always do.
So, like, as you have done all these things, acting, direction, costume, shade, voice acting, Like, which one do you enjoy the most?
I knew you were going to ask that. It's hard because I enjoy design and directing and voice acting a lot. Those three, it's hard for me to choose. I chose costume design as my field because I knew not only did I enjoy it, I knew I could always get work in it. Directing and acting are harder to get work in, so I knew if I majored in that, I might not always have work. And so I thought, well, if I am a designer, I can find work. I know I can. So as a person who does know how to make the things as well as draw the pictures, I've assured that I've worked solidly in this field since then. But I enjoy all three immensely. It's really hard for me to say.
Now, it's been over 3 decades.
Oh yes. Well, actually, initially, like I said, I started when I was 6. I've worked every year in theater since I was 6, and I will be 56 here in another 2 weeks. But my master's degree I finished in 1994, so that's 25 years.
Yeah.
And so I had my bachelor's degree in 1985.
85.
Yeah.
So, like, do you ever feel stuck, like your growth as an artist?
Periodically, and then I usually try to find something that'll challenge me.
Yeah.
Something different, something I haven't done. It's always exciting to do something new. And so if I find that I'm doing the same shows or the same types of shows all the time, I'll try to go find a show someplace else that I can work on, even if it's just making stuff.
So challenging yourself.
Yeah, challenging myself to something new, something interesting, something special, something different.
So that is what you recommend to the artists who feel stuck.
Yeah, always try something new. Never be afraid to go out and try something new. I mean, I worked on Beijing opera once. I worked on kabuki once. These are, Chinese and Japanese art forms that I wasn't trained in, but I wanted to try it. And I thought that will be a very good challenge for me. And so I went out and tried them.
And it helped your growth, right?
Oh yeah, it gave me more ideas. It made me excited to do what I do. Every time I do something different and new, it makes me excited because then I think, how can I use this for what I'm already doing and make myself grow? My trip to Nepal has done that already. It's given me inspiration. Because there are things that are so different here than from the U.S. or from other countries I've been. It's inspired me already. I've got all sorts of ideas in my head for design, for direction, even for possibly writing a play. I even got inspired for a piece of music.
Wow.
Already.
That's good.
So that's the idea.
So, like, do you see any scope for cross-cultural projects between America and Nepal?
Why not? I think it'd be awesome. It'd be wonderful.
It has never been done before, so.
Not to my knowledge, but I mean, why not? We have done cross-cultural. I know that Nepal has done cross-cultural with countries around them, and I know the U.S. has done cross-cultural with many other countries. I don't see why not. Nepal has become a destination for a lot of Americans to travel here. As they say, it's on their bucket list. One of the places they want to see and visit. And so obviously it's a time when the U.S. people are very fascinated by Nepal. They're learning more about Nepal, so why not? And of course a lot of Nepalese come to visit the U.S. or study there. So I think it's a perfect time. I think we can figure something out.
And do Americans and Europeans, do they want to hear and watch Nepali stories?
I don't know. I mean, why not? I mean, the basic story, if you think about it, it's a love story. It's a tragedy. It might involve people from another place, but the stories can relate to anyone. As we talked, you don't need language. When I watched Dengal, like I said, I don't speak Hindi.
Yeah.
I loved that movie. I have watched movies in Russian and Chinese and Japanese. I've loved them, not speaking the language. So the basic stories are relatable. I told you I teach about the Ramayana in my class. Rama and Sita, that's a love story. There's a beautiful love story there, and the separation of those two when she's kidnapped. My students understand that.
That has an universal appeal.
It does, a universal appeal. So why not stories from Nepal? Why not? I mean, Nepali people watch American stories,
They do. They love it. I
and
love
so
it.
why not?
So, there are a lot of actors out there who want some tips and different things from you. So, in terms of acting, we say imagination, experience, and observation. These three things are very important. So, from your experience, which one do you think matters the most? Experience, observation, and imagination.
I would say imagination. Observation can be taught, and experience can be gained. Imagination has to come from within. I can get experience by working. I can learn how to observe. But imagination, if you don't have imagination, how can you even begin to create a character? I would add one to that. Hard work.
Hard work. Yeah, obviously. That is. So you have done theater, you've done movies,
Yes.
and you have done voice acting.
Yes.
So, are there any differences in the way you act in these three platforms?
Oh,
And
yes.
if yes, then what makes them different?
Theater is live, and you have the audience reacting to you, and so you're reacting to them. You can hear them, and they can hear you. So if someone laughs, you wait for a second, and wait for them to finish laughing so they can hear your next line. The film does not wait for the laughter.
Okay.
You can laugh, and the film will keep going, and you might miss the next part because you're laughing so hard. Whereas the actor on stage might wait for a second to make sure you're always aware that you have a live audience in theater. Always aware. Plus, working in film, you will film this section,
Okay.
and then you might film that section, and they might be
Non-linear.
beginning and they're not related scenes at all. Different parts of the movie, and so they're never in sequence.
Yeah.
Voice acting is even stranger because they put you in a booth
Yeah, they do.
and they give you a script and they say turn to page 25.
There's a big headphone
Look
here.
yes, you have your headphones and your microphone, and they said look there. All right, that's read over your line. Okay, watch the monitor. All right, there's your scene. That's you in this outfit. Okay, now do your line.
With the feeling.
That's how much time you have to prepare. You usually get 3 chances
Yeah.
to get it right. That's it.
Oh, only 3 times.
Usually 3 chances to get it right.
What after that?
Oh, well, if it's really
get
bad,
fired.
if it's really bad, they'll give you another chance. But usually they'll make it work. Television is different, also, by the way.
in the same-
Television, because it's a small medium, we tend to act here. It's all close-ups.
It's more of close-ups.
Yeah, and so we don't worry about our legs so much. We worry about our face and our arms here and our shoulders. It was very different.
So, this is probably the last question I have. For an aspiring artist from Nepal, is Broadway and Hollywood a far-fetched dream, or is it
It's
not?
never a far-fetched dream. We have plenty of examples of people who started off in different countries, even in poverty. Lea Salonga, do you know who that is?
No.
She was the voice of Mulan. She's
Mulan.
the singing voice in the animated cartoon
I've seen
Mulan.
that, like,
yeah,
Chinese
the
story, right?
Yeah. And the Disney animation. She also has done other movies. She's done Broadway. She became an actress in the Philippines, and they found her in the Philippines, and they cast her in a Broadway production, Miss Saigon. And to think that she had started off not well in life and managed to get the attention of someone who just happened to be in, the city at the time where she was performing, and cast her in a show in New York. And then even paid for her to become an American citizen, basically, paid for all of her paperwork so that she became an American citizen so she could stay working because they wanted her to work in New York. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's not the only time that's happened, where they have found someone someplace else and they're like that person. Very famous, there's been plenty of Indian performers that have made it onto American screen. Persis Kambata, who unfortunately passed away very young, I believe in her 40s, got her start in the first Star Trek movie. And because she had such an elegant look and a very wonderful command of her voice, she got cast, and she became a fascination of the American public. They all wanted to know who this beautiful woman was. She was amazing. So I mean, it can happen. It's happened before. There have been Americans from, Brad Pitt is from a little tiny town in Oklahoma. Who would have thought this boy from a little tiny town in rural Oklahoma would become a superstar? So I mean, it can happen to anyone. It's not far-fetched. It may not happen, but I mean, always dream, but don't put all your all the weight on your dream. You have to work. You have to keep trying. You have to go out and find work and enjoy your work. And then keep trying. If there's an opportunity, take it. Always go for that. So if there's a movie that's filming here in Nepal, go audition. If they come to film a movie here, do whatever you can to audition for that movie. I don't care whether it's an Indian movie, an American movie, a Chinese movie, wherever that movie's made. If they're filming here, go audition. Okay. The worst they could say is no. That's the worst.
Okay, thank you, Eric.
Okay, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you.